What's up, guys? It's Tom, back for another video. Got my coffee. Cheers. So it's going to be a VCLT video. Got some VCLT from Rodney. He sent me stuff before, so thank you, Rodney, very much. Just out of the kindness of his heart, so we talk about music when we can, so really cool dude. I wish he would make videos, but I know can't. That doesn't work out for everyone, so sent me a bunch of great stuff. So in the background we're listening to, if you can hear it, is Andrew Cyril, Junction. It's got David Ware on there, Ted Daniel. Really great record. I've showed this one before. Really cool. Alright, so first up here, he sent me, I hope there's no glare on here, probably is, Burton Green Quartet. I think it's a self-titled, actually, Burton Green Quartet from 1966 on ESP disc. It's free jazz, as you can imagine. Burton Green is a pianist, if you're not familiar with him. This one actually features Marion Brown here, which does some pretty standout work on here, in my opinion. I think he's probably the highlight of this record. But it also has Henry Grimes on bass, David Grant and Tom Price on both on percussion, and Frank Smith on saxophone as well, tenor sax. So it's nice knowing there. I just put it from Rodney, but it's on the white ESP disc label. But really cool. I definitely recommend checking this out. Nice free jazz from Burton Green. I think he recorded another record for ESP as well, but don't quote me on that. Oh, by the way, Rodney, congrats on that Alan Silva score on ESP. That's huge. Definitely a big one for me as well. Let me take this one out because I don't know. So after that, he sent George Duke, Faces and Reflection. Now, I'll tell you the truth, I'm not the biggest George Duke fan, although I am more familiar, truthfully, with his later work. So this was really cool. I really did enjoy this one. This is from '74 on NPS. Let's go to the label there. NPS. It's a U.S. pressing. But this is a trio record. George Duke on keyboards, Leon Chancellor or Ndugu, you can go by here, on drums, and John Hurt on bass. Really nice jazz funk fusion type stuff. Sampled a bunch by a bunch of hip hop artists. So if you're hip hop, you probably know samples that are on here. Not like a big mystery. I'm not giving anything away, but pretty well known. George Duke sampled a bunch, especially certain track on this record. So really cool. Thank you, Rodney. This was definitely a nice change for getting me into George Duke a bit. More stuff I wasn't too familiar with. I know, Kira, you said you had this. You said it was pretty good. It definitely is. It's pretty dope. Enjoyed that. Alright, afterwards we have a little change from the jazz stuff, moving into the rock. We have the Underdogs, the Groundhogs, sorry. I always wanted to say the Underdogs when talking about this for some reason. The Groundhogs. Name of the record is Who Will Save the World? The Mighty Groundhogs. This is 1972 release on United Artists. It's a regular United Artists label on that one, but the artwork on this is amazing, I think, in my opinion. I guess the artwork is done by Neil Adams, who's a pretty well-known comic book dude. I'm not into comics, so I just read that, but I'm not familiar with him at all. He just did a lot of work for DC, but this one actually opens up like this. If I get it open, you know, and kind of a big comic book thing on both sides. Pretty cool. Really enjoyed the artwork on this one. The music is really cool too. This group is a trio. Really wasn't familiar with them at all, but I guess they're more known as like a blues rock, hard rock kind of group. Although this was definitely more hard rock, maybe prog inspired for sure. I definitely enjoyed this album quite a bit. It was really cool. Definitely want to check out their earlier albums because I believe this is the last one where they played with the original lineup, the original three guys. I think the drummer left after this album, so. But yeah, not familiar with these guys. Definitely give them a listen. I'll try to leave a notation, as I'm pretty sure they're on YouTube. I'll try to leave a sample, but that was cool. Thank you, Rodney. It's definitely a nice change of pace for me there. Some rock I wasn't familiar with at all. And then to go back to the jazz for a little bit here, we have a split record between Michael Mantler and Carla Bley. This is called, what's this one called exactly? So it's 13 3/4 for piano and orchestra, and it's basically a avant-garde big band orchestra record, free jazz orchestra. There's the label right there on the Watt label, which is actually Michael Mantler's and Carla Bley's own label, which they made for releasing their own music. But each side is basically composed by Michael Mantler or Carla Bley. Michael Mantler does side A, Carla Bley does side B. And basically they just, Michael Mantler just composed his side, although Carla Bley does play on her side, just plays piano. And a little bit different, like I said, it's both avant-garde free jazz on both sides, but Carla Bley is definitely more subtle, kind of. So it definitely, you know, comes up and erupts with when it needs to. But Michael Mantler's is definitely kind of more fiery throughout the whole time. Always just going for it, balls to the wall. Avant-garde jazz, kind of reminds me of a movie score in a lot of ways. Carla Bley's, like I said, it's kind of more minimalist, subtle throughout, and then just coming up for, you know, to erupt with a big sound pretty much, because it does get pretty crazy at times, but it's pretty cool. One record I've seen a few times, but never really checked out, so it's nice to actually be able to get into this. I definitely prefer the the Carla Bley side, if you didn't get from that, but next up here, JeremyStuyvesant, never knew how this was pronounced, Legwork, record I've been after for a while actually, so it was awesome that you sent to me, thank you Rodney. This was released in 1970 on Solid State Records. This is on the Black Solid State label. I believe JeremyStuyvesant actually did all the artwork on this, the inside and the front cover as well, as well as the back. If you're not familiar with him, he's a flautist. This is a trio record. Actually, Eddie Gomez is on bass, and Don Alias is on drums, I believe. I think it's Don Alias. Yeah. So, kind of a mix of funky flute jazz and freer stuff mixed together. But although it's really full of energy basically the whole time, never really boring, never dull. Really cool. And another really well-known sample too on this record, a Beastie Boys sample actually. So once again, So Big Secret. This one's been sampled quite a bit. Really well-known record. So, but really cool though. Even just aside from the sample track, this whole thing is great. One really nice modal track as well. So definitely pretty cool. I've been wanting that one for a while, so I knew what it was, but it's never a chance to get it. And then, once again, we're going to go over to some more rock. One record that I know quite well, but didn't have on vinyl. Pink Floyd, Adam Heart Mother. Originally released in 1970. This is a 75 reissue, I believe, on the Harvest label. Originally released on Harvest as well. But, really cool. I used to be a huge Pink Floyd fan when I was a teenager. And this one was one of the albums that actually took me a little bit longer to get into. But once I did get into it, it became one of my favorites. And I kind of just outplayed it, so it's kind of why I don't play rock and classic rock as much as I used to, just because I used to play it so much when I was a teen that just kind of, got kind of burned out on it. Same with hip-hop kind of recently for me, but anyway, back to this. Pink Floyd, Adam Heart Mother, really well-known psych rock record. If you guys don't know it, highly recommend checking it out. Also notable for this being the first record that the original pressing didn't have the Pink Floyd name here, didn't have any text on it, didn't have any of the band members' photos inside either, so I think that was the first record there, so it didn't have either of those two things, so pretty cool. Let's see what I got on time here. Not doing too bad, just a couple more here. Another one I've been after for a while, trying to actually collect a series of all these Jazz Composers Orchestra albums. And Rodney was nice enough to send me a sealed copy of Grachan Moncourt III's Echoes of Prayer from from 1975, I believe, on the JCOA label, Jazz Composer Orchestra label. If you don't know what the Jazz Composer Orchestra is, basically, I've talked about them before on my channel. They're a group, big band, led by Michael Mantler. They'll always have great musicians. Like, for instance, this one has Pat Patrick, Harry Robinson, Carlos Ward, Leroy Jenkins, Hannibal Marvin Peterson on trumpet, Carla Bley, Cecil McBee, Charlie Hayden, Beaver Harris, Gene Lee on vocals, so great stuff. Yeah, it's, you can imagine, free jazz, avant-garde jazz, but just done really well. Maybe a really under-recorded artist too, because everything I've heard from him has been fantastic. I do have a few of his albums on BYG Actual joints, and those are really great. I still want to get his album Evolution, I think it's called. The one's kind of pinkish purple cover, but I haven't found a early pressing of that. But really cool. Almost done with the Jazz Composers Orchestra album. So thank you, Rodney. This was really nice. Definitely one I wanted. And to wrap it up here, we have one really ambitious project from none other than Mr. Anthony Braxton. You can imagine, man, he put out a lot of albums. Not all of them have been fantastic. Like, coming from an Anthony Braxton fan, some of his stuff is just to me, but this one was good, not great. Put out in 1978, so kind of nearing the end of his Arista run. I think the only way he'd be able to make this was with a large company behind him like Arista, because what this is basically is an orchestral, so more big band avant-garde stuff. So 160 member orchestra doing 4 separate, or 160 players doing 4 separate orchestras, and 3 LP set. I show labels because it's just regular Arista labels, nothing too sexy about those, but I will show the booklet, because just to show how kinda, you know, how he got into his stuff. Like, he had everything. Obviously they have compositions for his famous Anthony Braxton compositions, but then he had like the flooring plan of where the microphones were set up, where each player was sitting, how the microphones were facing, how they're going to affect the recording, speaker positions, where people were sitting that would need to hear it, where the sound would affect them on the body. He would just get really in depth with his with his recordings and how he did it, and I just like this trajectory of the sound. That's why I really like Anthony Braxton, because he really got in depth with his stuff. Really ambitious, maybe his most ambitious kind of recording. There's an interview with him on YouTube talking about it, which I'll leave a link for if I could find it again. Yeah, pretty cool. Like I said, not a must-have by any means from Anthony Braxton if you're just a casual fan, because I didn't love this and I'm a pretty big Anthony Braxton fan, but really cool piece just to have. It's a really cool concept, so thank you, Rodney. Really appreciate all those. I didn't listen to all of them in depth, but a good chunk of them I already do know, so yeah, I'll definitely get you back someday. Like I said, I don't know how yet, but I'll get you back for all these. I hope you're doing good, man. And everybody else, I'll be back soon with a new video. Peace.